Thanks for joining me, guys. So I just want to give you just an update. We had an officer-involved shooting this morning at about 1:40 in the morning. Grand Rapids police officers were called for an individual who was rifling through neighborhood cars in the area around Forster and Bonita, just south of 28th Street. The officers responded. They saw a man in the area next to where one of the neighbors had said. The officer told the man to stop. He a short period, at which point in time he pointed a gun at one of the officers. Both officers fired at the man, and he was placed into custody. He's taken to the hospital. He's in serious condition. He is expected to survive, but happy to answer any questions.
You recovered the gun?
Yes, yeah, the gun was recovered on scene. We actually didn't recover the gun. Michigan State Police, we secured the scene for evidence, and you know, our process here when there is an officer-involved shootings to have the Michigan State Police do the investigation. So Grand Rapids Police Department obviously responded as well. Kentwood came from mutual aid. Wyoming Police Department came. The Kent County Sheriff's Department came and set up a perimeter for just to secure the scene. Waited for Michigan State Police, who were there very quickly with their detectives and forensics team. They did all the evidence collection, and I did respond to the scene myself. And I did see that there was a gun on scene, yes.
Were any shots fired by the individual?
That's not information that I'm aware of at this time. It will be part of the Michigan State Police information. I do know that our officers did fire numerous rounds.
Do you have the age of the suspect?
He's an adult, is all I know, yeah.
Do you know what type of gun was recovered from the scene that the suspect had? Is it a real gun? Is it a, you know?
It looked to me, from my experience, and again, I didn't recover it, Michigan State Police recovered. I haven't talked to them about it, but from my experience, it looked to me like a Taurus semi-automatic handgun, or a real handgun. It's possible that it's something otherwise, but I would strongly suspect that it was a real gun.
Is it believed that just one suspect was involved initially?
That's correct. And again, the investigation is preliminary, but we did get cooperation from the neighbors who called the police and gave us this information about this man breaking into their cars, and they just indicated there was one offender doing that.
Approximately what time did MSP wrap up their on-site investigation?
You know what, they actually might still be down there. I'm not sure that it's completely wrapped up, but I was down there probably till about 3:30 or 4, and they were still doing their work down there, so at least till then.
It was multiple cars that were broken into?
That's correct, yes.
Any chance it's connected to Kia Boys?
No, that's something that I thought about actually when I was headed down there, and you know, generally how the Kia Boys operate, they go as a gang. You know, it's a gang, and they go 3 or 4. They travel in groups. This was just one individual.
Yeah. Did you know?
Have you seen video of the incident?
I have, yes. I've seen I've seen the. There may be other video out there, so I'm going to put that disclaimer out there, but I've seen both officers' body-worn camera video, and I've seen the in-car camera video. And I will say, too, that I have a team upstairs working as quickly as possible to redact what's needed to be redacted, because we think it's important in the spirit of transparency to get that information out to you so that you can get it to the public as soon as possible.
Can you describe what you saw in that video for us?
Sure. Yeah, as I said, the officers can be seen on the video responding to this call for service of an individual that's going through people's cars in the neighborhood. They're directed to a specific address where he was last seen seated in a vehicle. The officers approach that address, and they see an individual. Both officers exit the car. They make an announcement to, you know, stop police. They turn their lights on, their emergency lights, so they're clearly visible as a police car. And they start walking on foot. The man runs, so they run. As they approach him, the man turns with a gun towards his hand and points it directly at one of the officers.
Your initial perspective is that officers did things correctly?
So it's not my investigation, and I don't know what I don't know. And like you guys have seen before, I only have what the Grand Rapids Police Department has. I have 3 videos. I have both officers' body-worn camera videos. I have the in-car camera video. From my perspective, what I can say is that the video indicates that there was what appeared to me to be a firearm pointed directly at one of my police officers.
Do you know how many times and where on the person the male was shot?
I don't. The information that I got preliminary was that he was shot multiple times, that he was in very serious condition. However, he is expected to survive, but I don't have the details of where on the body he was shot.
Your 5 months out of Yoga, what kind of steps in the community are you and Mr. Davis, Mr. Washington doing to go out and explain what happened to the community to try to be transparent
Yeah,
and work with them?
Yeah, and good question, and this is the start. You know, this happened at 1:40 this morning, and gather as much information as we can as soon as possible. You know, Brandon Davis was the first person I called this morning. I woke him up, woke the city manager up shortly thereafter. Brandon headed down to the scene with us, and just getting as much information as we can, as quickly as we can, talking to you guys, and then again, I got a team upstairs as we speak right now, going through the videos, to at least to be able to provide what the Grand Rapids Police Department has in the way of transparency, and without obviously interfering with the Michigan State Police investigation.
Was this a two-man car, or were there two patrol officers?
That's
that were
correct.
Separate?
That's
They
correct.
were together?
Yeah, the two officers were riding in the car together.
You know
Yeah.
how far away they were from the suspect when the shots were fired?
I would be guessing, but happy to guess, they're probably about 40 feet or so. Yeah.
Is it dark?
Yeah, it was dark. There were some street lights there, and also you know, headlights from the officers, but also the officers both had flashlights as well.
Any of the bullets stray hitting any homes or any other vehicles?
That's something that that we would do a canvas for. You know, the entire neighborhood will be canvassed. Any door will be knocked on that's in the area. However, where that shooting actually took place in that intersection there around Forrester and Bonita, there's a very large park, and it looked like the direction of the bullets would have gone into the park. So something that we're always concerned about, though, because bullets can travel a very long way and still be deadly.
After an officer is charged with murder, do you feel that members of the public are more emboldened to do this type of behavior that you say is happening, like pointing a gun at police? And is that a concern that you have moving forward?
I am concerned about, I don't know if I'd necessarily conflate those two, but anytime that there's sort of picture of a delegitimacy of law and order or the police department in general, it's a serious concern of mine. I've seen it happen in other jurisdictions. I don't know that that's what we're seeing in Grand Rapids. In fact, we've seen, just the month of August, we've seen a significant decrease in violent crime. I expect that decrease will continue. I hope it is. I'm optimistic it will. So I can't explain this individual's behavior. I think as we learn more about the investigation, hopefully we'll get some more answers on that.
And you have seen an uptick in car break-ins. Anything we can say to people outside of making sure to lock your doors about what's being done?
I mean, lock your door, if you can park in a well-lit area. Obviously, not everybody has the opportunity to park inside if you can, but then it's, be a good neighbor. Because, you know, this incident tonight, there were just a lot of neighbors that said they don't want to put up with this, and they're going to call. A lot of individuals, too, have been putting up doorbell cameras. That's very helpful for us. Not only is it helpful for us to solve these crimes, but it's a very helpful deterrent. So if you have surveillance on your home that is visible and people know, a lot of times they're going to go to the house, or they're going to go to the street next door. You know, they're going to. Go ahead, Joe.
I'm sorry. Did you actually get doorbell camera video from here?
For this incident, although we're happy to help in any way canvass, the Grand Rapids Police Department is not doing the secondary surveillance video sort of searches. We just have the video that we have, and any other help that the state police needs, we're happy to give it to them, but I expect that they will be collecting that video if such video exists.
Have you spoken to the two officers? How are they feeling? Are they shaken up?
I have, they're very shaken up, as I would be too, I'm sure, but I did check in with them today, and I told them before they left here, and I told them I'd give them a call tonight once they've been able to get a little rest.
Do you know how long they've been with the department?
I don't know specifically how long. I know that, for example, neither one of them has been involved in an officer-involved shooting before.
Chief, you instituted this two-man car policy back in April. Were they riding together because of that policy, and do you think that may have added to officer safety last night?
It certainly did add to officer safety, because it very well could have been a one-man unit that traditionally would have gone. We don't have anymore a hard and fast two-person car. Part of that is logistically. You know, I've spoken to you and others here about the officer shortage, not only in the Grand Rapids Police Department, but across West Michigan and really across the country. And logistically speaking, when there's somebody that's calling for a police report for a stolen car or a burglary report, to be able to send a single man unit to those cases, it just makes more sense, better coverage for the city. officer safety-wise, we would always love to have two officers in the car. So fortunate that there were two officers working together because it could have ended much differently.
So you just had the manpower to be able to do that last night?
Yes, yeah.
Is it fortunate that you did? have
Oh,
the
yeah,
power
it's-
to do
it-
that last night, because that's not every night, right?
No, it's not, and even last time, I'm sure there were a few officers which were by themselves. Unfortunately, I'd love to have every officer a two-man, assigned to a two-man unit, but I do think it was fortunate that they were together last night because it's always a more safe situation for
Your
them.
home department of Chicago has suspended things like foot chases because of their inherent danger to the public and for officers. Is that something that you're considering for the department or something that you think about in these types of situations?
I actually had a strong hand in writing the foot pursuit policy in Chicago. It's long, it's clunky, but I will say that if you applied this incident to that policy, they would be 100% in policy. And I also want to correct you, this is now my home department. I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you.
Any chance you'll be able to release that video today?
I would say I'm doing everything I can. So the answer is yes, there is a chance. Yeah.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
You know how many cars are broken into?
Just want to at least two.
Oh, thanks.
Yes, sir. No, I was just, I'm sorry. I had a little levity to an otherwise very